one way or another, he will find his way to the world of men. And when he does, you will be there waiting for him.
Perhaps one of the most mysterious unsung heroes of Westeros, Benjen Stark has puzzled viewers since heading north of the Wall, only to return as a product of the Children of the Forest. Born the youngest son of Lord Rickard Stark of Winterfell, Benjen Stark became a member of the Night's Watch as well as the First Ranger. After leaving to go north of the Wall, he was attacked by the White Walkers and left for dead. Found by the Children of the Forest, Benjen Stark was saved by the same magic used to transform the Night King. With magic now in play, Benjen was sent by the Three-Eyed Raven to rescue Bran and Mira and eventually Jon Snow from certain death. As he was last seen being overran by Whites, Benjen Stark has been presumed dead. But can he even be killed? And welcome back to LycanStudios. I had to use that intro again just because I really enjoyed making it. So anyways, welcome to part 2 of the fate of Benjen Stark. So yes, today will probably be the last part, but I don't know. We'll see what happens because there's so much to talk about with Benjen Stark. But anyways, before we jump right into the video, I do have to say that today's shout out goes to Lady F. Everybody say, Lady F, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for your support. I think you're pretty new as well as our last shout out, but ever since you got here, you've been liking, commenting, and all that good stuff. So yeah, your support has been unreal, and I just wanted to say you are wonderful. So everybody to make sure to leave her a comment. And yeah, I think for this video, since you guys absolutely crushed the like goal yesterday, we are going to go for 87. Yeah, we're going a little bit down just because sometimes part 2 videos don't do as well as part 1 videos. So yeah, we're gonna hit 87 if you guys allow it. So make sure to smash that thumbs up button and let's talk about Benjen Stark part 2. Actually, before we get into part 2, let's recap part 1 just to make sure we're on a level playing field. So we covered the backstory, the history, which by the way, you can find it in the description below. We covered the backstory and the history of Benjen Stark, and we also talked about why he possibly could have joined the Night's Watch, which basically boiled down to him kind of knowing and possibly helping Lyanna Stark, you know, get with Rhaegal, you know, make it seem like maybe it was a kidnapping, so he wasn't really kind of casting her as a traitor, and then him just feeling super guilty about it because obviously from all of that, you know, his father was killed, his older brother was killed, lots of people died, Robert's Rebellion happened, the Mad King Aerys ended up dying, so it kind of just makes sense that maybe being a Stark, so thinking that the Night's Watch is a very noble cause, an honorable cause, that along with guilt, he kind of went to the Night's Watch. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I want to say that also because him knowing about Lyanna is kind of what we're going to start talking about in part 2. We're going to be talking about him knowing Jon was Rhaegar and Lyanna's child. Because obviously, even if he didn't help her, do you really think Ned would have kept that from his brother? I don't think so. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm pretty sure I actually, I said Rhaegal in the first part of that little clip. So yeah, she wasn't with a dragon, I promise. It was Rhaegar. But anyways, yeah. So do you guys actually think that with Benjen taking the black and Ned knowing exactly what went down, do you think he wouldn't have told Benjen? Because I think he would have. I mean, that's literally the last sibling that he has. You think he would tell Benjen how their sister died, that it wasn't kidnapped, it wasn't a kidnapping, it wasn't rape. She wanted to do that. If Benjen didn't already know, which I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, they were super close growing up, and you know, it's not something that I think Benjen would not have known. So that leads into him probably, most likely, knowing that Jon Snow is actually Aegon Targaryen. So with that being said, I think we can look at this clip.
Well, you're always welcome on the wall. No bastard was ever refused a seat there.
So take me with you when you go back.
Jon.
Father will let me if you ask him. I know he will.
The wall isn't going anywhere.
I'm ready to swear your oath.
You don't understand what you'd be giving up. We have no families. None of us will ever father sons.
I don't care about that.
You might. You know what it meant.
So I was actually just rewatching that clip and I gotta put something in before you guys hear the next part. So I'm actually just interrupting myself, if that makes sense. But anyway, Sonya makes an incredible point. I didn't really pay attention until now, but Joseph Maul, the actor who plays Benjen, that was some incredible acting. Like if you just look at his face, look at his eyes, like you can really deeply tell that he just cares about Jon and that he's just truly sad. But anyways, all right, let's jump into the clip that was supposed to come next. So yeah, this is where it gets kind of interesting, because this is the clip obviously where we first see the interaction between Benjen and Yassi. You come up here. Come on. Hello. We first see the interaction between Jon and Benjen. So we know that Benjen is one of Jon's heroes. He just gives him something, he gives him something to aspire to grow up into, you know what I mean? He's a hero figure, so just seeing Benjen being a badass of the Night's Watch, that's what Jon wants to do. He just wants to feel like he belongs to something. So yeah, we kind of can tell that Benjen has a little bit of a sad attitude. Is it because he knows that, you know, you won't, like, Jon will be committing to something too soon, he won't father any children, you know, but at the same time, if he were to just think that Jon was a bastard, this would be a great way for him to go, you know what I mean? So he kind of puts that in there, but at the same time, I just can't get over how sad he feels talking to Jon. It really seems like he deeply cares about Jon, and why would he be sad? Maybe because he knows that Jon came from Rhaegar and Lyanna, and that he was pretty much supposed to be heir to the Iron Throne, but instead he's living this bastard life where he's probably going to end up on the wall. So there is that, but then there's also one more thing. What if somehow he already knows that Jon, with his parentage and the White Walkers that are coming, that Jon may be the prince that was promised? All right, so we may be getting a little too tinfoil here, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody cover it from this idea. So if Benjen knew that Jon was actually a Targaryen and not just a bastard, when he goes back to the wall, because obviously he's already a member of the Night's Watch, you got to remember that we have Maester Aemon there. So with Maester Aemon being a Targaryen, what if Benjen actually told Maester Aemon about it, and Maester Aemon, you know, being around for what, 100 some years, plus being a Maester of the Citadel, and obviously with the Night's Watch, knowing that winter is coming and bad things come with winter, what if they kind of pieced together that he could be the prince that was promised? And maybe between maybe him, Mormont, you know, because Mormont obviously took a very good liking to Jon, wanting to groom him for command. What if they all kind of knew that he was the prince that was promised? They all three kind of pieced it together, and it was actually Benjen's job to kind of get him to the wall. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It could get super interesting. That's probably tinfoil as hell, but what do you guys think about that? I feel pretty good. I feel like I kind of just came up with something. I don't usually come up with a lot of original ideas. I kind of piece a lot of things together and just try to make it make sense, but that's kind of an OG thought right there. What do you guys think? Might be my first ever one. But yeah, definitely tinfoil-y. But anyways, continuing from there. So if they knew that Jon was kind of the prince that was promised, they could kind of groom him to be the leader of the Night's Watch. And I mean, where else would, like, what would be a better fit for the one to take out the Night King and obviously what winter is bringing than to be at the head of the Night's Watch? That way they can just meet him head to head. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's super exciting to think about, for real. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on them possibly knowing that Jon was the prince that was promised. But anyways, even if Benjen doesn't know it at this time, he obviously figures it out because he gets turned by the children of the forest. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Why on earth would they do that? So this is kind of getting to where there's things that I just can't answer. Like, we're getting into some deep stuff here. So first of all, why would Benjen be stabbed in the belly by a... I did this, I don't know why, but why would he be stabbed by the belly, or in the belly, by a White Walker and left for dead? Why can't bad guys just start killing people with haste? Like, you gotta hastily, is that a word? You gotta hastily kill people if you're gonna do it. So many times, like, the good guy just survives because the bad guy's taking too long. I was actually watching Vampire Diaries. Make fun of me if you want. I love the show, but even Damon says something like, first lesson of being a bad guy, kill your enemy with haste. And so I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, just think of how many times the bad guy would win if they just freaking did it already. Just, if you're gonna kill somebody, do it fast. Excessive speed is the key. Don't kill anybody, though. Don't kill anybody. For real, don't kill anybody. But anyways, so yeah, that led him to obviously having dragon glass plunged into his chest, just like the Night King by the Children of the Forest. Now, obviously there's some key differences. He doesn't have blue eyes. He's not ruthless. He's still pretty much himself. So does that mean the Children of the Forest have more they have more command over what they're doing now? Or they can just do whatever they want? Dragonglass is this crazy stuff. Could it be just where he was already dying and now it's different? So I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Like that just, it's crazy. So basically we're saying that Dragonglass was used to create the Night King, but it also can be used to stop someone from turning into a white. So yeah, I guess it could just be the time of use. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's a different kind of Dragonglass. I don't know, but we're getting into some pretty crazy stuff. So anyways, it happens for some reason, but why? Let's think of one reason why it could have happened. We're going to go back to my theory that Bran is the Night King. I know, but there's just nothing wrong with this theory. There's nothing wrong with Bran being the Night King. I can't think of it. So definitely check the link in the description. We talk about why they left Sam alive, why they left Jon alive, and we can throw Benjen into the same category just because they know that in order for the Night King to be defeated, which is possibly what the Night King eventually wants to be, is defeated and put out of his misery, that Benjen was going to play a huge part in obviously saving Bran, saving Jon, and that's why it could have happened. And Sam was going to play a huge part in figuring it all out too. So I can kind of throw that into the same category. Definitely tinfoil, but that's the only theory I have for the whole end game that really just wraps everything up. So if you want to go back and check that video, make sure to. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, so that could be why Benjen survived. So anyways, he was obviously needed to survive because now he goes and saves Bran and Mira. And obviously he knows now. He knows things. So he is probably, since he is a creation of the Children of the Forest who also have access to, you know, time, I would say that if they didn't tell him, Benjen probably has access to all that information now as well. So now he definitely knows that Jon, you know, is looking to be the prince that was promised, the Song of Ice and Fire. Bran is going to play a huge part in it, so he saves them, and that's why that goes down. Now, there is something very interesting that just hit me for some reason. I don't even know why, but also going way back, Benjen should have known that Ned wouldn't have just threw his honor out the window. I think Benjen would have definitely known that Ned wouldn't have just slept with another woman. And yeah, so I definitely think that's another reason we can back up that Benjen knew about Jon. All right, and there you've seen what looks to be like Benjen dying. So let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, where does he keep getting these horses from? Obviously, his runs back to the wall. He shows up with one. He leaves it with Mira and Bran, and then he gets another one. So where's he getting all these horses from? First of all, that's what I want to know. And second of all, why didn't he just ride off with Jon? Why? He says there's no time. No time for what? You could have just easily just rode off into the sunset with Jon. You could be alive. So either this is going to be a pretty crappy loose tie that they tried to close up with, you know, him just going out like this, which I could honestly see that happening. I know a lot of people want him to come back, but with this show, with only 6 more episodes, I can see that as just kind of a cheesy but kind of cool, badass way for Benjen to go out. But at the other hand, like I said in the intro, can he even die? Can he even die? If he's got dragon glass in his chest, it just seems a little weird to me that regular whites are going to take him out. We didn't get an up close and personal view of him dying. We also didn't with like Nymeria, but, or not Nymeria, Summer, I'm sorry, but that was kind of different, you know what I mean? So that was really the only other time I can think of where it's just whites kind of jumping onto a character that we like. So it was with Summer, but I think we can hear Summer whine a little bit, and we know that she's gonna die. So can Benjen still be alive? Yes, he definitely can still be alive, but will it probably happen in the show? I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen in the show. I would love to see him come back, but I I can't see it happening. Not with 6 episodes left. I think that his story has probably come to an end. And I know I kind of have a negative view on these things. Like, I should probably be a little bit more hopeful, but just being honest, does he come back? I don't think so. I think there's a huge mystery to him. It's going to be very interesting in the books, and that the way they kind of tied out and ended his character was a little bit cheesy and left us wanting some more answers. But is that going to happen throughout the rest of the show? Yeah, probably. So anyways, this has been Lycanstudios. I hope he comes back. Don't get me wrong, I do hope he comes back. I think it would be very cool. It could definitely throw a huge twist in things, but if I had to put money on it, do I honestly think he's coming back? No. So anyways, that's just what I think. Take it with a grain of salt. What do you guys think? Make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you did enjoy the video. And yeah, who do you guys want to see next? I'm thinking about Jack and Hagar. I'm thinking about doing Jack and Hagar next. So anyways, this has been Lycan Studios. We'll see you next time. Peace.